I had 3 hours before I was supposed to meet the landlord. And I was going to go to his office, and we were going to sign my renewal papers for my lease. I was finishing up some dishes, and I get a phone call. It says, Jake, landlord. I wipe off my hands, pick it up. He says, I'm in the neighborhood. Why don't I just swing by, and we can sign the papers at your house, and I'll do a walkthrough. And I am got dishes this high and clothes all over the house, and I'm like, David! And so I said, you throw those clothes in the closet, and I open the oven and I shove dishes in. Now I know that dishes is not supposed to go in the oven, but that is where my dishes went. Because you see, and my slides are not on here, so just joking about that. Sorry about that. Because you see, I didn't want my landlord to know that I was a less than perfect tenant. Well, I mean, everybody has dishes, but they don't need to know that you have dishes. And after he left, we did get our lease signed, thank you very much. Only a bunch of clothes in the dryer, oh, and shoes and everything else that was on the laundry room floor. David said, okay, so I don't think you would have cared. It's like, but a walkthrough, you just gotta impress them. It's like, I think it was like to make sure the walls weren't damaged. But I didn't want them to think that I was a less than perfect housekeeper. I mean, everyone knows you live, but we were not in that good a place. It is not an appropriate, oh, thank you. Just kidding about that. So it was not appropriate for people to know. Now, you see, I would love to have a Facebook perfect life. These 4 pictures are actually off my Facebook feed. Oh, not my Facebook feed. But I know people who are famous and who make food that looks that good and who have little kids that can all stand up in unison and sing harmonic chorus like pentatonics and that triple backflip skydive. And I'm like, how can I compete with that? How can I live in that kind of life? Because really, I feel like all the time, I'm opening my oven and shoving my dirty dishes in. Because, you see, my world, I always got a lot going on. And I don't know about you, but maybe you really want to be fancy enough to have one of those really big vacations. Or maybe at least be able to save enough for a down payment for that car or that house. You really just want something to be able to show and say, look, everybody, I am doing good. But really, I don't know what your week's been like, but I feel like I'm doing pretty good. If I get there somewhat on time before the people leave, and I remembered most of the stuff that was required for that meeting, and, oh wait, I answer at least half my emails, and don't let too many people down. You know, there's a lot of running. Maybe not in your life, but in mine. And it's so hard to say, man, I want to have everything. But it's so hard to pull it all together. What do you do when your pretty great is that you remember to buy groceries? When your pretty great is, yeah, you made it to work all 5 days this week. What do you do? Have you ever thought maybe there should be something more? Have you ever thought, really, I am trying to spin all of these plates and keep them in the air. And if I have one more thing added, it's all going to fall apart. Well, I love the story of Mary and Martha. You see, because I feel like Martha is like a Pinterest. She's the original Martha Stewart, and she's got people coming over to her house, and she wants everything to be just perfect. And I could see her folding the napkins as Jesus is coming and pulling out not just that quick potluck dinner where you kind of throw the cheese over top to cover up that it's leftovers, but instead those beautiful little appetizers that have this pretty forks in them. You see, Jesus was coming, and Jesus was important. And so she was pulling out all the stops. And as she's busy working among everyone, she is running and she is running. She's doing a lot of good things. Now, I like that this story doesn't say, and she was burning the food, because I feel like I'm at least averagely successful, and not always is it the disaster and the things. And so it's like, yeah, maybe sometimes I'm as well and put together as Martha. But it says she was running. She was busy and she was frustrated. You know, the more things I have on my plate, the easier it is for me to get frustrated. Because my white space in my life is so little that it doesn't take just one light to be read at the wrong time, or that keys that you were supposed to have had, or the flash drive you were supposed to remember, or it just takes one little thing. And you're like, man, it's all not working quite right. So Martha, she comes to Jesus and she says, my sister is not doing her share. I need her to do her share. And Jesus so kindly says, but the Lord answered her, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things. I don't know if many things are troubling you today. I don't know if maybe your troubles are more serious than the busyness of life. Maybe you have real concerns. Maybe it's health problems, or there's some broken relationships in your life. Or maybe you have people who are spreading rumors about you. Or maybe you have family that doesn't know Jesus. Or maybe there's things that you're just really worried about, things that keep you up at night that won't let you go to sleep. Jesus says to you, Shelina, Shelina, you are worried about many things. But Jesus, I want to have a beautiful meal for you. But Jesus, I want to be good at this. But Jesus, I want everyone to know how well I'm doing. And then he says, but there is one thing worth being concerned about. Oh, Jesus, don't add one more thing to my list. One more thing's going to break me. I can't handle one more thing in my bucket. My bucket is full. I have no more space. He said, but one thing is worth being concerned about. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. I don't know if Jesus has ever felt like an add-on to your list. He said, I want to be such a good person. I want to, I heard that if you read your Bible one chapter a day, that you will always stay close to Jesus. Oh, if you read your Bible through in 1 year, then you're really close to Jesus. Oh, if you have a prayer list for everyone in your church and pray through that, that's when you're close to Jesus. And it feels like maybe these formulas are things you have to add on to your busy schedule. And you say, but God, I don't know if I can handle one more thing. How do I handle that all? Sometimes one more thing will take a person who's already above water, make it feel like you're drowning. If you had to wrap one more activity, one more thing, maybe it's the car accident that totally wrecks your finances. Or maybe it's the unplanned school bill that you were sure that paid, but somehow they misunderstood and things didn't come through, and now you owe interest, and that didn't come through the way you planned. Or maybe it was a teacher who forgot to actually grade your paper and lost it somewhere in the shuffle. One thing, you feel like that's going to break you. But Jesus didn't add to Martha's list. He instead says, you only need one thing. I learned to swim at a motel. Now, that doesn't sound too unusual, but I didn't learn to swim in the pool. I learned to swim in the motel hot tub because we were staying in Washington State, and it was freezing. And there was no way my parents were getting out of the hot tub to go to the pool. And it was a really big hot tub, and so it was, I guess, that time, and they started to teach me to swim. And I was so excited, and finally I was like, okay, I'm ready to go to the pool. And so we went to the pool, and Dad and me swam from one side to the other, and I was doing really good. Then we were so cold we had to get back in the hot tub, and we got in the hot tub, and I was doing great. And after we'd been at this for several hours, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go back into the pool. And Dad's like, okay. And he gets out, and I was like, oh, I can do it myself. I've got this. And he says, I know, but I want to go with you. I've got this, Dad. Back off. I got this. He's like, I know you can swim, but I'm going to go with you, so if you get tired, I can hold you up. And that's what Jesus says to us. I am here to hold you up. I am here not because I think that you are incapable, but I'm here so that you can rest in me. I'm going to hold you in my hands. I'm going to be there every step of the way, holding you up. He says, I want to add one thing. You know, if you need something, I am your life vest. I'll hold you up. But it's not something impersonal. I'm here holding you in my hands to never let you fall. It's not just one more thing on that safety checklist. It's saying, I am what you need. I am what you've been looking for all along. Psalms 27, verse 4 says, though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with his hands. I am working on getting my master's degree. And to do that, I'm doing these intensive courses. And these intensive courses are 2 weeks, and you go and get 7 credits in 2 weeks. So lots of papers. And I hadn't done all my pre-work that I was supposed to do, but most of the classes hadn't really cared. So this is the first class in the entire history of schooling that I show up, and I don't have everything done that I'm supposed to do when I get there. And the teacher calls me out on it on day 1 and says, I don't know if you can actually take my class, I might send you home. And I was like, he's like, actually, I have sent people home for not finishing their work. So I begged mercy, and we got it all worked out. So every night, I had to sit, and after I studied for my test the next day, I had to sit and write my pre-work that I wasn't done with yet. And it was an awful week. And as I'm sitting and doing all this work, it's like, I don't know if I'm learning anything because I'm writing papers and I'm trying to remember all, and I'm trying to study for the next test and the next day and things. I was putting in like 14-hour days and then still trying to call back and email and make sure that church service was going to get set up while I was gone. And then Sabbath came. And my class finished on Friday. And I had this moment where it's like, you know, I remember Friday nights when I was in college. And the college chaplain would come forward and say, you know what? Happy Sabbath. Shabbat. Shabbat means to stop. To stop all this busyness and craziness in your life. Happy Sabbath. Welcome to Shabbat. Rest in God. Take 24 hours to connect with Him, and you will be refreshed. Now, I have lots of busy things that happen on Sabbath, and I love Sabbath, but lots of times I've got a lot of things I'm trying to juggle. I was far away from home, and this was not a Sabbath I had anything to juggle. And so Friday night, instead of writing last-minute notes for the bulletin and practicing music, I went and took a walk by Holmes Lake. And as I walked by the lake and watched the sun set into the lake, I felt the peace of God. And I was like, God, I've been running all week studying all sorts of important things, but I've been listening. God, come, let's dwell together. Thank you for being a place to rest, because I can't do this by myself. I don't know how worn and frazzled you might feel today. People I talk to sounds like a series of things, from one surgery to another, to people coming in out of town, from people moving out, to people who are going through rough times where they need to go fly to see relatives. Doesn't matter. As you listen to people's stories, it's one thing after another after another. There's a lot of busyness. Really? God doesn't say I want you busy. He says I want you. He says, one thing you're lacking. You missed me. Mary sat by the feet of Jesus. Not that a beautiful house and a put together scenario, not that a Facebook feed full of fun adventures is bad. But we need to put it all in priority. Say, we're not going to be able to make everything work out. There's going to be times when we're not juggling well. But God says, you don't have to impress me. He's not on first date basis with us anymore. He's family. And our God loves us as we are. And we don't have to put on a show for him because he knows all that's going on in our lives already. There's a quote that says, there's a tension between the important and the urgent. So often, we fill our days with the urgent and let the important of God slip away because, God's going to be there tomorrow. And the day after that, the day after that, the day after that. But if we don't connect with him, this urgent isn't going to matter. So God, right now I know that I need you. Today, right now. And that is an urgent need. End with me on Exodus 33:14. The Lord replied, my presence will be with you, and I will give you rest. If you need rest today, there's a God who's giving it freely. Says you don't have to be worn and tired anymore, because I will hold you up in my hands, and I will be there. I am your safe place.